Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today's Monday, October 21st, 2024. Today we're going to recap Games 4 and 5 of the WNBA Finals. We will recap the League Championship Series games in Major League Baseball, college football, NFL, soccer, golf, NASCAR, news and notes, and best bets. We're doing a different order than we usually do because of the circumstances. We're going to start with the WNBA Finals. It was an epic series and a very epic last two games. Game number 4. The Lynx get the 82-80 win over the Liberty. The force of Game 5, Sabrina Ionescu misses the go-ahead shot. And Game 5 was forced at the Barclays Center. Kayla McBride, 19 points for Minnesota. And John Cole Jones had 21 for the Liberty. And last night, the Liberty did the damn thing. 67-62 in overtime against the Lynx to win their first ever WNBA championship in franchise history. Whoa, baby. How exciting is that? John Cole Jones, 17 points in the win, and she was the finals MVP. Nafisa Collier had 22 in defeat. She probably would have won finals MVP if Minnesota hung out in Game 5. They had a 12-point lead, and the Liberty came storming back in the second quarter into the second half, and the Liberty get it done, and the home crowd was ballistic. New York played after the game, then We Are the Champions, although I would have done it in reverse. Play We Are the Champions first, then New York. That's how the Yankees did in 2009. That's how I would have done it if I was the Liberty. But instead they did New York first, and then the We Are the Champions. So what a game, what a series. The Liberty do it. Stewie, Sabrina, John Cole Jones, all WNBA champions. Sandy Brondello, second time winning a ring. I believe this is Stewie's second time with getting a ring too, because she was on the Storm team that won the title. And then John Cole Jones, obviously W Finals MVP, which is well-deserved with the numbers she put up, leading them in scoring in Games 5, 4. Stewie led them in Game 3, although Ionescu hit the shot. Game 2 was Stewie. And Game 1 was John Cole Jones. So I honestly thought Stewie was going to win it because it's Stewie. But John Cole Jones was the better player in Game 5, and I think that's what it ultimately came down to. Not that John Cole doesn't deserve it. She does, but I thought Stewie was going to win because Stewie's the best player on the team. Usually the best player on the team wins the finals MVP, except Jaylen Brown did for NBA. And then Andre Iguodala that one year. Super Bowl MVPs kind of like this as well. World Series MVP, not so much. LaConn Smythe, I think, has kind of become that as well, as we saw Connor McDavid, although in a losing effort. So, fun WNBA season to cover. It was the best season the WNBA's ever had. I need to get Jeff Maglicetti on the podcast to celebrate this Liberty title and to talk about what's next for this growing league with expansion and all this talent in the league, and you're going to have an expansion draft eventually. So a lot of fun things coming for the Women's National Basketball Association. Now move on to baseball. The League Championship Series. We'll go over all the games from the weekend. Some of them were duds, others were classics. Friday, Game 5, NLCS, Mets over Dodgers, 12-6. The force of Game 6 back in Los Angeles. Ryan Stanek got the win, and Jack Flaherty got the loss. Jack Flaherty, that was the worst I've seen him pitch in the playoffs. The Mets just had their breakout game in that game. David Peterson pitch count got him in that game, and then On the flip side, Flaherty was pulled after 3 because he was so bad. And then LCS Game 4, Yankees over the Guardians 8-6 to take a 3-1 series lead. That was an epic game. Mark Leiter Jr., unsung hero, gets the win. Emmanuel Clase, who everybody lauded as the next Mariano Rivera, lost. Tommy Canely gets the save instead of Luke Weaver because Luke Weaver needed a day to rest after giving up home runs in back-to-back games. Mark Leiter was put on the roster to replace Ian Hamilton, who got hurt running the first base. So, weird addition by subtraction for the Yankees because Leiter obviously has a fresh arm. And it benefited the Yankees, and that's someone who they got at the trade deadline and wasn't great. And then he was left off the roster because the Yankees had other guys like Hamilton come back healthy. And Leiter comes in and saves the day with his fresh arm. And Jake Cousins was good for most of the season. He wasn't good Friday night. Obviously, Clay Holmes kind of fell apart again. And then Canely got the save out of the pen. But on the flip side, Gavin Williams was okay. A lot of their guys in the pen was good outside of Cade Smith, who was really good in the regular season, and their closer, Class A. The go-ahead hit in the top of the ninth was an error by the shortstop, Brian Raccio. John Birdie scored, and then Gleyber Torres hit the hit that put him up 8-6. And it's Saturday night. Yankees over the Guardians 5-2 in 10 innings as they clinched the American League pennant, win the series in 5 games. Big hit was the go-ahead home run in the top of the 10th inning by Mr. Juan Soto. As the Yankees get it done, Luke Weaver gets the win, and Hunter Gaddis, who was really good this whole season out of the bullpen for Cleveland, gets dinged with the loss. Class A actually pitched really well in this game, but it didn't matter because Cleveland lost. Tanner Bibbe was awesome. Kept the Guardians in the game. Got not much run support. And then he was good up until Giancarlo Stanton hit the game-tying home run in the top of the 6th. But their bullpen did really good. And Gaddis, that home run off of Soto's bat, all unearned runs because of a brutal error trying to turn a double play. Alex Verdugo nearly hit into a double play, and they botched it. Cleveland botched a double play, and that's what led to the Soto coming up and hitting that majestic home run. That's going to go down as one of the biggest home runs in Yankee history, let alone recent Yankee history. Definitely one of my favorite Yankee home runs ever. But here we are, Yankees back in the Fall Classic for the first time in 15 years. And then last night, Dodgers over the Mets 10-5 in Game 6 to wrap up that series in 6 games. So now we're going to have an epic Dodgers-Yankees series on our hands. The 2 best players in the world, the 2 best teams in the league this year. This is the first time we had 2 1-seeds in the World Series since 2013 when it was Red Sox-Cardinals. The Red Sox won it that year, but the Cardinals are probably the better team. And that Red Sox team, granted they had a lot of wins in the regular season that year, but it was kind of reminiscent to the Mets this year. Like a lot of unsung heroes and good pitching. So that's like a good comparison to that Red Sox team, but that Cardinals team that they played was really good with Beltran and Adam Wainwright. Michael Wacha was a rookie. And now this series, both of these teams I think are really good. I know some of they're flawed in both ways. I mean, the Dodgers, it's their relief pitching, I think, is their biggest weakness. And the Yankees, obviously, some may say the bottom of the order, but the bottom of the order has been a strength in the playoff run, so I can't say that's been their weakness. I think their biggest weakness in the postseason has been their defense and their base running, like the fundamentals. I mean, luckily it didn't cost them anything against Cleveland or Kansas City, but could cost them against the Dodgers. But we'll preview and predict the World Series The World Series starts Friday. I'll do my pick on the Thursday podcast. And Mets had a fantastic season. Nobody expected them to be in the NLCS, especially after being 11 games under 500 around Memorial Day weekend. And the way they turned their season around to make it to this point, kudos to them and Carlos Mendoza and everybody on that team. What a great run from OMG to Grimace. It was really enjoyable to watch. And Carlos Mendoza has to be the manager of the International League, in my opinion. And on the flip side, the Guardians, they had a really good season. Kudos to them. Scrappy team. Could easily be up 3-2 against the Yankees going to Yankee Stadium tonight, amazingly enough. But they had some poor defensive lapses, and their bullpen got worn out. Stephen Vogt is a good manager, but he made some rookie mistakes in that Yankees series. And I think the Guardians have to be a team taken seriously going forward. I mean, that division, I think, low-key isn't terrible. The White Sox made that division terrible. But those teams that are in that division, the Tigers, the Royals, the Guardians, and even the Twins, all might be around for a while. So the Guardians, I think, deserve major props for being there, although they were the 2 seed and got a bye, so in theory they should have been there. So kudos to them on a great season as well. Now move on to college football. I know it's a lot of baseball talk, but there's a lot I wanted to get into. We'll talk college football. We'll recap the games from the weekend. It was a fun weekend for sure. We have games tomorrow too. Friday, Duke over Florida State 23-16. Number 2, Oregon over Purdue 35-0. Number 13, BYU over Oklahoma State 38-35. Fresno State over Nevada 24-21. Saturday, number 6, Miami over Louisville 52-45. Number 10, Clemson over Virginia 48-31. Number 16, Indiana over Nebraska 56-7. Number 19, Missouri over Auburn 21-17. Number 23, Army over East Carolina 45-28. Wisconsin over Northwestern 23-3. UCLA over Rutgers 35-32. Wake over UConn 23-20. Cincinnati over Arizona State 24-14. Louisiana over Coastal Carolina 34-24. South Carolina over Oklahoma 35-9. Eastern Michigan over Central Michigan 38-34. Temple over Tulsa 20-10. Number 11, Tennessee over number 7, Alabama 24-17. Number 12, Notre Dame over Georgia Tech 31-13. Number 22, Illinois over number 24, Michigan 21-7. Number 25, Navy over Charlotte 51-17. NC State over Cal 24-23. Kansas over Houston 42-14. Wazoo over Hawaii 42-10. Old Dominion over Texas State 24-14. Miami, Ohio over Ohio 30-20. Bowling Green over Kent State 27-6. Western Michigan over Buffalo 48-41. Toledo over Northern Illinois 13-6. South Florida over UAB 35-25. UTSA over Florida Atlantic 38-24. Tulane over Rice 24-10. Maryland upsets USC 29-28. Colorado over Arizona 34-7. Baylor over Texas Tech 59-35. New Mexico over Utah State 50-45. San Jose State over Wyoming 24-14. Georgia Southern over James Madison 28-14. Number 14 Texas A&M over Mississippi State 34-24. Number 8 LSU over Arkansas 34-10. Vandy over Ball State 24-14. Arkansas State over Southern Miss 44-28. Number 9 Iowa State over UCF 38-35. Number 17 Kansas State over West Virginia 45-18. Michigan State over Iowa 32-20. Memphis over North Texas 52-44. Florida over Kentucky 48-20. Number 5 Georgia over number 1 Texas 30-15. Number 20 SMU over Stanford 40-10. Colorado State over Air Force 21-13. UNLV over Oregon State 33-25. And TCU over Utah 13-7. All right, now move on to the NFL. Week number 7. We'll recap the Sunday games, and we have 2 games tonight for Monday Night Football. In London, Jaguars over the Patriots 32-16. Bills over the Titans 34-10. Packers over the Texans 24-22 on the game ending field goal by Brandon McManus. New kicker for the Packers, by the way. Lions over the Vikings, 31-29. Seahawks over the Falcons, 34-14. Eagles over the Giants, 28-3. And Saquon Barkley's return game to MetLife. Bengals over the Browns, 21-14. Colts over the Dolphins, 16-10. Commanders over the Panthers, 40-7. Rams over the Raiders, 20-15. Chiefs over the 49ers, 28-18. And the Steelers over the Jets, 37-15. 2 games tonight, 8:15 on ABC and ESPN. Ravens-Bucks. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters on the call. Lions Buccaneers by 1.5, total 53 3/4. And it is the Ravens as a 3.5 point favorite, total 49.5. So I have a 5-point edge. Is that 5 or 4? 5-point edge on the Bucks. And I have a nice edge on the over, too. But I'm going to take the Bucks getting the 3 and the hook and plus 156 outright. I really think the Bucks have a shot here. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin healthy, Baker's playing well. So I'm going to take the Bucks getting the points and plus 156 outright. And 9 o'clock on ESPN Plus, Chargers Cardinals. My line is the Chargers by 1, total 40 2/5. And it's Chargers 1.5, total 44.5. I like the under. Chargers are a good defensive team. I know the total's a little higher than I project because of the Cardinals' defense and offense being high scoring and their defense not being good. But I think this is a Charger type of game, so I'm going to go under 44.5 for this one. Although the ideal play here would be the Chargers on the money line, minus 116. If I did a parlay for the games, I do Bucks plus the points with the over, Chargers money line with the under together. And there how that would pay out. All right, now move on to hockey. We'll go over the weekend's results, and we'll go ahead to tonight's games. So we have the NBA coming up, so we have the season preview and prediction show to do tonight. Hurricanes over the Penguins 4-1, Jets over the Sharks 8-3, Avs over the Ducks 4-3 in overtime on a game winner by Nathan McKinnon. Saturday, Senators over the Lightning 5-4, Red Wings over the Preds 5-2, Stars over the Oilers 4-1, Panthers over the Golden Knights 4-3 in overtime on a game winner by Gustav Forsling. Capitals over the Devils 6-5 in overtime on a game winner by Tom Wilson. Rangers over the Maple Leafs 4-1. Islanders over the Habs 4-3 in a shootout. Canucks over the Flyers 3-0, so that's a revenge spot because the Flyers beat them last weekend. Wild over the Blue Jackets 3-1. Blues over the Canes 4-3. Sabres over the Blackhawks 4-2. Utah over the Bruins 2-1 in overtime on a game winner by Michael Kesserling. And the Kraken over the Flames 2-1 in overtime on a game winner by Jordan Eberle. And then yesterday, Jets over the Penguins 6-3. Avs over the Sharks 4-1. Kings over the Ducks 4-1. One game tonight, 7:30 on the NHL Network. Lightning Maple Leafs from Toronto. Leafs minus 146. Lightning plus 122 over under 6.5. Overs minus weight. Unders minus 112. Lightning plus 1.5 is minus 2.5. Leafs minus 1.5 plus 140 or plus 168. I'm going to go with the under. I think that's a high total. I think this is going to be a good spot for the goaltending and division rival. I kind of think this is an under game. So under 6.5 at minus 112. All right, now move on to soccer. We had a lot of soccer over the weekend with all the leagues back in action, and we have some soccer games today as well. EPL Saturday, Tottenham over West Ham 4-1, Aston Villa over Fulham 3-1, Man United over Brentford 2-1, Brighton over Newcastle 1-0, Leicester over Southampton 3-2, Everton over Ipswich 2-0, Bournemouth over Arsenal 2-0. And then yesterday, Man City over Wolves 2-1, Liverpool over Chelsea 2-1. One game today, 3 o'clock on USA, Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. Nottingham plus 135, Crystal Palace plus 220, the draws plus 220. That's a hard one. So I am going to go with the Nottingham Forest on the 90-minute line at plus 135. MLS. So Saturday was decision day. CF Montreal ran by CFC 2-0. Nashville over Chicago 3-0. Charlotte over DC 3-0. Miami over New England 6-2. Columbus over the Red Bulls 3-2. Atlanta over Orlando 2-1. Cincy over Philly 2-1. Austin over Colorado 3-2. Dallas over KC 2-1. Houston over the Galaxy 2-1. LAFC over San Jose 3-1. Minnesota over St. Louis 4-1. Salt Lake over Vancouver 2-1. Seattle Portland 1-1 draw. So the playoffs. So Miami, Columbus, Cincy, Orlando, Charlotte, NYCFC, Red Bulls, Montreal, Atlanta. And then the West, LAFC, the Galaxy, Real Salt Lake, Houston, Mini, Colorado, Vancouver, Portland. Those are your playoff teams in each league. So the wild card series are tomorrow and Wednesday. So maybe we'll pick those on the podcast tomorrow and Wednesday, respectively. National Women's Soccer League, Friday, Seattle over Houston 2-1. Saturday, KC over San Diego 4-1. Louisville over Portland 1-0. Bay FC over North Carolina 1-0. Sunday, Gotham over Orlando 3-1. Washington over Chicago 2-0. Angel City, Utah 1-1 draw. Liga MX. Friday, Atlas Mazatlan 0-0 draw. Toluca over Querétaro 1-0. Tijuana over Necaxa 2-1. Cruz Azul over Puebla 2-1. Saturday, Guadalajara over Pachuca 2-0. America over Santos 3-0. Leon over Juarez 3-2. Monterrey over Tigres 4-2. Sunday, UNAM over Athletic San Luis 3-0. And then we have more matches on Tuesday. German Bundesliga. Friday, Dortmund over St. Pauli 2-1. Saturday, Leverkusen over Frankfurt 2-1. Gladbach over Heidenheim 3-2. RB Leipzig over Mainz 2-0. Freiburg over Augsburg 3-1. Hoffenheim over Bochum 3-1. And Bayern over Stuttgart 4-0. And then yesterday, Union Berlin over Holstein Kiel 2-0. And Bremen over Wolfsburg 4-2. La Liga. Friday, Valladolid over Alaves 3-2. Saturday, Athletic over Espanyol 4-1. Betis over Osasuna 2-1. Real Sociedad over Girona 1-0. Real Madrid over Celta Vigo 2-1. Sunday, Mallorca over Rayo 1-0. Athletic over Leganes 3-1. Villarreal Getafe 1-1 draw. And Barcelona over Sevilla 5-1. And then today at 3 o'clock, we have Valencia and Las Palmas. So Valencia minus 130, Las Palmas plus 380, draw plus 240. For this one, that's a little bit of a hard one. Neither of these teams are good. Draw plus 240. Serie A. Saturday, Parma Como 1-1 draw. Genoa Bologna 2-2 draw. Milan over Udinese 1-0. Juventus over Lazio 1-0. Sunday, Napoli over Empoli 1-0. Fiorentina over Lecce 6-0. Atalanta over Venezia 2-0. Cagliari over Torino 3-2. And Inter Milan over AS Roma 1-0. And then today, 2:45, we have Verona and Monza. Verona plus 140, Monza plus 230, draw plus 195. Verona's in 12th, which surprises some people. They're usually a bottom feeder in the league. I'm going to take them at home at plus 140. French League 1. Friday, Monaco, Lille, 0-0 draw. Saturday, Brest, Rennes, 1-1 draw. Lens over Saint Etienne, 2-0. PSG over Strasbourg, 4-2. And then yesterday, Lyon over Le Havre AC, 4-0. Auxerre over Reims, 2-1. Nantes, nice 1-1 draw. Toulouse, Angers, 1-1 draw. And Marseille over Montpellier, 5-0. USL. Saturday, Detroit over Miami 3-0. North Carolina over Tampa 2-0. Hartford over Tulsa 2-1. Pittsburgh over Loudoun 2-0. Indy over Birmingham 3-2. Charleston, Rhode Island 1-1 draw. San Antonio, Louisville 1-1 draw. El Paso over Sacramento 2-1. Colorado over Monterey Bay 1-0. Orange County, New Mexico 0-0 draw. Oakland over Vegas 3-2. And Memphis over Phoenix 1-0. ELC. Friday, Leeds over Sheffield United 2-0. Saturday, Cardiff over Plymouth 5-0. Luton over Watford 3-0. Oxford United, West Brom 1-1 draw. Preston over Coventry 1-0. Blackburn over Swansea 1-0. Bristol City over Borough 2-0. Woolwell Derby 1-1 draw. Portsmouth over QPR 2-1. Burnley over Sheffield Wednesday 2-0. Norwich City Stoke 1-1 draw. And then Sunday, Sunderland over Hull 1-0. Dutch Eredivisie. Saturday, Almere City Sparta 2-2 draw. PSV over AZ Alkmaar 2-1. NEC over Heerenveen 3-0. RKC Waldwick FC 22-2 draw. Feyenoord over the Go Ahead Eagles 5-1. Sunday, Willem Fortuna 0-0 draw. FC Utrecht over FC Groningen 1-0. Ajax over Heracles 4-3. And NAC Breda over PEC Zwolle 2-1. The Scottish Premiership. Saturday, Celtic Aberdeen 2-2 draw. Dundee over Hibernian 3-2. Hearts over St. Mirren 4-1. Dundee over Motherwell 1-0. St. John's over Ross County 3-0. And yesterday, Kilmarnock over Rangers 1-0. And last but not least, the Saudi Pro League. Friday, Al Ali over Al Khalij 3-0. Al Hilal over Al Fayha 3-0. Al Nasser over Al Shabab 2-1. Saturday, Al Raid and Al Wada 2-2 draw. Damak Al Tawoon 2-2 draw. Al Idiad over Al Qadsiya 3-1. And then yesterday, Al Fateh and Al Khalod 1-1 draw. Al Raida over Al Akdod 1-0. And Al Uroba over Al Edifak 3-2. So there you have it for the soccer. Now move on to golf. We will talk about the Shriners Children's Open. Your winner of the tournament with the score of 22 under is JT Potson. Second with 21 under, Doug Gim. Tied for third, 19 under, Matthias Schmidt and Rico Hoey. Tied for fifth with 18 under, Michael Kim, Kyung-Hoo Lee, and Davis Thompson. Eighth with 17 under, Taylor Pendra. Tied for ninth, 16 under, Gary Woodland, Harry English, Alejandro Tassi, Kurt Katayama, and Harry Hall. Tied for 16th with 14 under, Scott Piercy. Oh, I skipped tied for 14th with 15 under, Matt Kuchar and Mark Hubbard. Tied for 16, 14 under, Scott Piercy, Vincent Whaley, Adam Putnam, Ryan McCormick, Matt McNeely, John Highsmith, and Ian Gilligan. Tied for 23rd with 13 under, Ricky Fowler, C.T. Pond, Grace Sieg, Chad Ramey, Beal Hostler, Scott Stevens. Tied for 29th with 12 under, Trevor Moore, Nate Lashley, Lucas Griffin, Jacob Bridgman, and Norman Zong. Tied for 34th with 11 under, Ryan Moore, Bill Cawley, Paul Fishburne, J.J. Spawn, and Ryan Fox. Tied for 39th with 10 under, Daniel Berger and Pearson Cootie. Tied for 41st with 9 under, Luke List, Davis Riley, David Lipsky, Nate Shipley. 45th with 8 under, Chris Goddard. Tied for 46th with 7 under, Justin Sue, Austin Eckler, Evan Van Rooyen, Adam Schenk, Ben Taylor. 51st with 6 under, S.H. Kim. Tied for 52nd, 5 under, Joseph Burlett, Jonathan Vegas. Tied for 54th with 4 under, Nate Taylor, Camilo Vegas, Grayson Higo, Will Furt, and Nicolo Galletti. Tied for 59th with 3 under, Ben Silverman and Francesco Molinari. Tied for 61st with 2 under, Tyler Duncan and Zach Blair. Tied for 63rd with 1 under, Trevor Crow. 64th at even, Dan McCarthy. 65th with 1 over, Alex Molly. 66th with 3 over, David Skins. And then among those cut, Matthew Neesmith, Robert Shelton, Harry Springer, Chon Kim, Callum Tarrant, Ben Griffin, Sammy Valimaki, Charlie Hoffman, Ben Coles, Lucas Hodges, Robert Brown, Webb Simpson, Seamus Power, Adam Svensson, Eric Cole, Carson Young, Troy Merritt, Taylor Montgomery, Roger Sloan, Tyson Alexander, Brandon Wu, Will Gordon, Jason Hadley, Kevin Doherty, Henrik Norlander, Chandler Phillips, Keith Mitchell, Sam Ryder, Kevin Stroman, Andrew Novak, Hayden Buckley, Dylan Wu, Alex Badley, Ryan Palmer, Nate Hardy, Tom Kim, Nicholas Echevarria, Stefan Yeager, Taylor Hogue, Cam Davis, Brennan Todd, Pat Gazier, Trey Molinax, Chester V, Bryce Garnett, Kevin Kisner, Adam Hadwin, YCU1, Peter Malnati, Danny Willett, Justin Lauer, Martin Laird, Alexander Zork, Trevor Whitney, Paul Bargin, Raja Campos, and withdrawing Joel Dahman and Cam Champ. So there you have it for Shriners Children's Open. And next on the docket is NASCAR. We will go over the results from the weekend. Xfinity. So your winner, AJ Allmendinger. Second, Ryan Sieg. Third, Justin Allgaier. Fourth, Chandler Smith. Fifth, Parker Kligerman. Sixth, Jesse Love. Seventh, Riley Herbst. Eighth, Cole Custer. Ninth, Sheldon Creed. 10th, Austin Hill. The rest, Corey Heim, Danny Dye, Eric Almirola, Sam Ryder, Josh Williams, Matt DiBenedetto, Brandon Jones, Jeremy Clements, Matt DiBenedetto, Anthony Alfredo, Kyle Weatherman, Brennan Poole, Parker Retzlaff, Myatt Snyder, Jeb Burton, JJ Yeley, Kyle Sieg, Dylan Lupton, Ryan Ellis, Garrett Smithley, Joey Gase, Blaine Perkins, Sammy Smith, Taylor Gray, Ryan Vargas, Akinori Ogata, Dawson Cram, Leyland Honeyman, and Shane Van Gisbergen. And the Cup Series from Vegas. Your winner, Joey Logano. Second, Chris Bell. Third, Danny Suarez. Fourth, William Byron. Fifth, Alex Bowman. Seventh, Martin Truex Jr. Seventh, Ross Chastain. Eighth, Denny Hamlin. Ninth, John Arthur Nemechek. 10th, Chris Buescher. The rest, Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, Corey LaJoie, Harrison Burton, Zane Smith, Justin Haley, Noah Gragson, Daniel Hemrick, Michael McDowell, Cody Ware, Ryan Priest, Carson Hocevar, Josh Berry, Eric Jones, Chase Briscoe, Ricky Stennis Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Shane Van Gisbergen, Ty Gibbs, Todd Gilliland, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Austin Cindric, Tyler Riddick, Brad Keselowski, and Austin Dillon. All right, Homestead next weekend, so we're coming to an end of the of NASCAR, which is sad. But yeah, this year's gone so fast. All right, now move on to the news and notes for today. So the Giants benched Daniel Jones at the start of the fourth quarter in a 28-3 blowout loss, and Jones admits he didn't like being pulled towards the end of the loss. Well, he deserved to be pulled. He was fucking terrible, and the loss of Andrew Thomas really is like the equivalent of losing a quarterback. Like that, I said it on the podcast when it happened. Like, I don't think the Giants, I'd be surprised if they won more than 3 games the rest of the season. That's how bad of a loss Andrew Thomas is for the Giants, in my opinion. That's how big that loss is. It's like losing a quarterback. And yeah, I think the Eagles are going to miss Jordan Mailata too, but it didn't matter because their defense stepped up. And Brian Daboll says that Jones is still QB1. He says Daniel isn't reason for loss. Everything wasn't good enough. Yeah, I mean, he was right. Everything wasn't good enough, and that includes Daniel. Jaden Daniels got injured in that Commanders game with a rib injury, which was unfortunate. And it came out a couple minutes ago is that the status of Daniels will not be known until Wednesday or Thursday. They need him. I mean, they got away with it because it's Carolina, who's the worst team in the league other than New England. And it's just unfortunate. Jaden Daniels is so much fun to watch, and that injury was not fun to see yesterday. Brandon Ayuk may have an ACL injury, as the diagnosis has not been confirmed. Meanwhile, Juju Smith-Schuster did not return with a knee injury. Deebo Samuel did not return against the Chiefs because of an illness. Cooper Kupp expected to be back Thursday night against the Vikings. Ooh, Rams-Vikings with Cooper Kupp back might actually be a good game. Alright, so the biggest injury of the day other than Jaden Daniels obviously was Deshaun Watson, as he likely tore his Achilles. He was carted off the field on Sunday. And then Myles Garrett said that those who booed Deshaun's injury should be ashamed. I mean, Deshaun Watson, we all know him. We know what happened off the field. But you can't root for injuries in sports. You just can't. Like, karma's going to come back to bite you if you root for an injury in sports. I mean, granted, Deshaun's was terrible this season. Maybe the Browns are better off without Deshaun. But still unfortunate with the injury. That's just something you just cannot root for. It's just not nice. I don't care what a kind of person the person is outside of football. Aiden O'Connell got injured with a hand injury. Gardner Minshew had to replace him. Travis Etienne did not play against the Patriots with a hamstring injury, but didn't matter. Looks like Tua will be back this week against the Cardinals. That's exciting. He was missed, certainly. Will Levis week to week with a grade 2 AC sprain. Can miss multiple weeks. Mike Evans is going to play tonight against the Ravens, as will Marvin Harrison Jr. for the Cardinals against the Chargers. And Tua does not have any lingering issues as he played right now if he still could, but it looks like he's going to be back next week. There's a chance that Aiden Hutchinson could return for the Super Bowl as he has a realistic chance to play if Detroit makes a championship run. I said this the other day. That injury, I think, puts them out of the Super Bowl bubble for the time being. They missed him in the Vikings game yesterday, but I thought they were lucky to win that game because they forced Sam Darnold in some turnovers early on, and they took advantage, and that offense is just so good. So, I don't think that they can beat the likes of Kansas City and healthy San Francisco and Green Bay even, or even Minnesota at Minnesota's A game without Hutchinson. I just think that Hutchinson's that important to the Lions. It won't matter in the regular season, but I think it's going to matter in the playoffs. So that's why I think that they have to address that position at the trade deadline. Hassan Reddick ended his holdout as he will report to the Jets today, as the Jets agreed to waive the fines as part of the deal to end the holdout. Mike Williams, there are some negotiations with the trade with the Steelers and the Jets, as negotiations will resume next week after the two teams play, which they finished playing. All right, top trade candidates among the Athletic Insiders include Bryce Young, Deebo Samuel, and DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think Deebo's going to get traded. Maybe Bryce Young. DeAndre Hopkins makes sense because the Titans are lousy. I would even put Darius Slayton in there. I would put Devin Singletary in there. I would put in if the right would they trade Max Crosby? Jacoby Myers of the Raiders is a good one. Zamir White, Alexander Madison. Think of any decent player on a bad team. Ramondre Stevenson. No blue chippers, but guys that could help other teams. I think Reddick would have absolutely helped the Lions, by the way, if he were to get traded. Deshaun Watson is eyeing the Aaron Rodgers surgery as Deshaun may get similar procedure to Aaron Rodgers did on his Achilles injury. Jets interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich is disappointed in the team as he's not pleased with performance in the loss to the Steelers. That was a bad loss with Russell Wilson cooking the way he was. Yikes. They made Russell Wilson look like Seattle Russell Wilson. Cheryl Reeve is such a freaking sore fucking loser. She goes off on officiating. She's like saying that the Liberty robbed us a title. Give me a fucking break. The Liberty earned it. She did not hold back post-game after their loss. She better be fined. That's all I gotta say. Stop discounting the New York Liberty. They earned this championship. Cheryl Reeve, good coach, but she's being selfish right now, in my opinion. Her team had a nice run. Her team was the second best team. Maybe if they closed out Game 3, maybe if you held on to a lead in Game 5, you would have won. So you should just shut your mouth. Stop bitching about officiating. That makes me so mad when you had multiple chances to close something out. That is something that Jeff Maglicetti and I always talk about, how we try not to use officiating as an excuse if you have had missed opportunities in the past. The Warriors extend Moses Moody 3 years, $39 million. Nice contract for him. The Grizzlies are signing Yuki to a two-way deal. So that's pretty cool. The Bucks want to re-sign Thanasis Antetokounmpo despite likely being out for the season due to locker room presence. The Celtics are waiving Lonnie Walker. We'll see if anybody picks him up. Texas got fined $250,000 after fans threw debris on the field during the game against Georgia. They were a bunch of sore losers too. Good win for Georgia. And then Arch Manning came in the game against Georgia when Texas trailed 20-0. So Kenny Dillingham apologizes to the kicker as he walks back post-game comments after calling performance atrocious. We have an in-season firing in college football. Mike Houston was let go from East Carolina despite 3 and 4 starts of the year. I think that was an odd firing. 3 and 4, and you're fired? Like, East Carolina wasn't supposed to be good. I mean, I thought if anybody was going to potentially get fired in season, it would have been like Billy Napier at Florida or maybe Neil Brown at West Virginia. But Neil Brown, I feel like that was last year kind of saved his job. Maybe he's out after the end of the year like Napier could be. I mean, there's a couple guys that jump out to me could be like in-season guys. Those are the two I thought of. Mike Tomlin made quarterback decision as he went Lone Ranger on the call to start Russell Wilson. Garrett Wilson draws interest as they've heard from teams that are not planning to trade him. They should not trade Garrett Wilson. He's really good. The Lions checked in on Hassan Reddick as they should have. The NFL may narrow goalposts as their league is considering narrowing uprights in the future amid uptick in kicker accuracy. Multiple teams are eyeing Cooper Kupp as the Rams received calls about his availability after the Devontae and Amari trades. Bad news for Indiana. Curtis Roque not expected to play against Washington. That's a big loss. And College Game Day's going there this week as well. Max Strus out 6 weeks with an ankle sprain. Not good for Cleveland Cavaliers before the season. Paul George injury is nothing major. Says he'll be back sooner than later. The Knicks waive Landry Shamet, TJ Warren, and Chuma Okeke. And 20 scouts went to Colorado, Arizona as teams wanted to see Travis Hunter against Satoria McMillan, which was a fantastic individual matchup. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. That's a tough call because there's a lot of directions that I can go with. I'm going to do 300ths of a unit, and I am going to go with I'm debating on going with Verona, the Bucks, or the under in the hockey game. I'm gonna go with the Bucks of Tampa Bay, getting 3.5. I love the hook. I think the hook is what makes it attractive. So I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers getting 3.5 at home against the Ravens for my best bet of the day. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and look ahead to everything tomorrow as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.